Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now February 21st of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2, a lot of fans have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, you name it, and have been remaining skeptical ever since the Gina Carano fired situation. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about the Gina Carano firing is that yes, we do know that a lot of fans out there have been very much upset and up in arms over the entire issue, and exactly what's been going on behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm between Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, and others out there. It really is a big mess right now when it comes to Star Wars. You know, there are going to be some minor setbacks when it comes to Mando Season 3 and 4, as well as the Ahsoka Tano series and the Kenobi series. But all of the release dates so far are still good. You know, it's all about the production flow. The workflow of the production is getting a little bit halted here because of the entire situation at hand. Now, with that being said, of course, we do know that Disney CEO Bob Chapek is really working and very much putting all of his heart and soul into Star Wars, really trying to create a legacy of his own. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, we've talked about this before. Over the past couple of years, she has been nothing but a force of destruction. From 2012 all the way until the beginning of 2020 when she lost her creative power, for the most part, except for the Acolyte series, we have seen Kathleen Kennedy pretty much really take Star Wars down with her and really turn it into something not as rich as George Lucas's vision. So with that being said, of course, what's really intriguing all has to do with Kathleen Kennedy's stance on the entire matter of Gina Carano and exactly how Kathleen Kennedy feels right now behind the scenes. Given that The Mandalorian Season 3 is now in development, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing everything in their power to create a successful Star Wars universe. It's noted, however, that behind the scenes, Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is best described to be in hiding and refuses to make an official statement on Gina Carano's firing, and is on the verge of quitting from Lucasfilm because of her hypocrisy getting exposed on the internet just 2 days ago. Kathleen Kennedy is said to regret firing Gina Carano, not because she feels bad for Carano, but however that Kennedy is very intimidated by the consequence from the backlash of the entire Star Wars fandom. Now, additionally, it's also noted that Kathleen Kennedy has been debating on making an official statement and is trying to form some kind of statement that will be scripted to be told to the Star Wars fandom by early March of this year, and that Kennedy realizes that many Disney shareholders are not happy with how Lucasfilm handled the entire situation from the Gina Carano firing from the Mandalorian series. Now, on top of this, Kennedy is best described to still be busy working on the Acolyte series with Leslie Headland, trying to move that forward and get it done on schedule. However, is, of course, in line and in limbo on a decision of what to do with her own statement about Carano, and is really debating on leaving Lucasfilm earlier than expected, and that Bob Chapek, the Disney CEO, is pressuring her to make a statement about why they fired Gina Carano. Now, let me just stop right here for 1 second. I'm still amazed that either Disney or Lucasfilm or anybody connected to those companies have not come forward and made an official statement about her firing. Now, sure, we had a Lucasfilm spokesperson, I believe it was, that said that Carano is no longer a part of Lucasfilm and not a part of any of the projects associated with Lucasfilm. But what the fans want to see is that they want to see somebody significant. We're talking about maybe Bob Chapek or Kathleen Kennedy or somebody on that level that's going to talk about Gina Carano. Notice how Kathleen Kennedy refuses to do this, and this is all intentional. So Kathleen Kennedy going through this major phase is a very interesting one. The fact that she is debating on leaving Lucasfilm earlier than expected because she's very intimidated by the hypocrisy that got called out the other day. I'm sure that you guys saw the Oscar video on the internet where a lot of fans were very much up in arms over that, of how Kathleen Kennedy released such a video just days after the firing of Gina Carano. And not just that, Bob Chapek was unaware Alright, the Disney CEO was unaware of how Lucasfilm handled the situation of firing Carano and is not happy with the way they did things. So that's another thing, is that it kind of destroys Lucasfilm's image further of how they handle the firing process of employees. And I don't know if you guys have been in the loop, but the reason as to why a lot of fans are up in arms over Gina Carano's firing as well is because Gina was let go by not getting any word from Lucasfilm. She was let go by looking at hashtags on Twitter and hashtags all over the internet and headliners on sites like Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter. I mean, the list goes on. That's how Gina Carano found out that she was fired. And Lucasfilm did not even tell her until several days. To me, that's just disgustingly unprofessional. I don't know about you guys, but at the very minimum, you could send an email, which still is pretty low. But I think that the best way that they could have handled it was either face-to-face, remotely, or literally just in person. They could have done something like that. It would have made a whole lot more sense. But Gina Carano did not get that treatment by Lucasfilm. Now here's the other deal, is that Kathleen Kennedy is busy with the Acolyte series. She's working very closely with Leslie Headland as we speak. I've said this numerous times. This show is going to be a major flop. It's not going to do well. It's going to be a disaster, to say the least. I highly doubt that this show is going to be anywhere near The Mandalorian's success. Sure, it may sound interesting on paper, you know, the Acolyte taking place at the very end of the High Republic, you know, showcasing emerging dark side powers. But at the end of the day, it really is a show about promoting agendas by Kathleen Kennedy, and that's all there is to it. The other thing that I think a lot of fans need to know that's very important is that I believe it's March 9th. We're going to be getting a shareholder meeting, and we're going to be learning a little bit more about how many shareholders or what kind of percentage that's going to be in line with are really unhappy about this entire deal, you know, what happened to Gina, because of how much bad press Disney is getting for it. You know, we already know that shareholders, to some extent, are very unhappy about what happened with the Gina Carano news. Are they necessarily, you know, supporting Gina Carano? I don't know. But they are against of how Lucasfilm handled it, how they fired her, and how bad of a press they're getting for that major decision. Obviously, it's all business at the end of the day. It doesn't seem like that they are genuinely upset about Gina Carano, but the shareholders are unhappy about how it creates this image of Disney/Lucasfilm. So, March 9th, I believe the date is, we're going to find out more about that. That's most likely going to be the day that Disney's going to make a bigger statement about Gina Carano's firing. So keep your eyes open for that date, because that could very well be the day that we learn more about that. So yeah, guys, you know, like I've said before in the past, we still got Kenobi, we still got The Mandalorian, we still got the Ahsoka Tano series. That's still on. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me, is it canceled? Is it delayed? What's going on? It's still on as of right now, just to let you guys know. So yeah, you know, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.